how many manganeses do we have?
3.
And all right, Eduardo. So
3.
how many manganeses are there?
3.
All right, and how many phosphoruses and how many oxygens?
5 phosphates and 1 thiazide.
Good. All right. So, all right. So somebody tell me the mass of manganese. 55. Are we using decimals or are we just doing whole numbers?
Whole number.
Okay. Phosphorus
31.
and oxygen.
16.
All right. Now, like I said yesterday, when I do an answer key for a test or a quiz, I always use the decimals. I do use whole numbers a lot, though, when I do things in class. Do I care if you round to whole numbers? Not overly much, no. All right, so what's 3 times 55? It's 165? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. 3 times, or what's that? 5 times 31 is what? And 20 times 16, I cannot do in my head.
320.
320? All right, so what do we get when we added? 640. What unit did we learn we'd put on it? A U or an AMU. Either one is fine. Everybody good with that? All right, so I picked the same compound in number 2 just to make life faster on us in the second question. So I want to find formula units if we have 39.42 grams. So our chart's going to start with 39.42 grams. And I want to find formula units. So what has to go on the bottom of my chart? And I'm going to what on top? If I want moles, I'm finished. Did they ask me for moles?
No.
No. So what goes on the bottom? What goes on top? F units. You can write just unit. You can write F unit. You can write formula unit. Remember what I told you not to write. All right. So, yes, Xavier. So, Xavier. When we have moles, we put what beside moles? 1. We write what beside formula unit? Avogadro's number. And we put what beside a mass? We put the periodic table mass that we get off the periodic table. And in this case, this is why I kept the same compound from question number 1, because we'd already added it up. So the 640 that Jaden yelled out goes right there. Okay? Any questions about that? So taking our 39.42 times 6.022 second EE23 divide 640, we get 3.709 times 10 to the 22nd. Did I punch that in right?
Yes.
Okay. And we have formula units for an answer. All right. Notice in the top question, I don't have to worry about significant digits because when I structured this question, are there any numbers in the question? No. So it does not matter how many units or numbers I have. Some of you may have had point something after that. You might have some decimal numbers. Completely cool. This has no numbers in it, so the significant digits don't matter in this top question. This question had how many significant digits right here?
4.
So I have to have 4 significant digits in my answer. Okay? Remember, half of this test tomorrow is for response. Part of this is multiple choice. So in the parts that are for response tomorrow, I will be grading for significant digits and taking off for that. So make sure you have units and significant digits on these types of questions on the test tomorrow. Okay? Any issues with that? Look at you eating that pixie stick that I wouldn't give out in 4th period yesterday so people didn't get sugar all over my classroom. You make sure you're neat over there.
I got you.
Okay. All right. So, whoops, wrong way. So number 4, 3, is asking us to find molecules. So we have grams and we're going to molecules. Is this question any different than that question? No, which is why I put this up here. Just to make sure that we understand that molecules and formula units are essentially what? The exact same thing. So grams to moles, and then moles to molecules. Now, let me ask you this before we fill in the numbers. On the test, what do you think people do wrong all the time? They sometimes do what Jaden said. Don't write this down. But 9 times out of 10, this is what I get for this question.
No molecules.
No molecules. They think moles and molecules are the same thing, and they just stop the chart there. Okay? This is the mistake that's made on the test most often. So make sure, if you see a question like that on the test, that you make sure you remember that moles and molecules are not the same thing. Okay? So again, moles gets 1, molecules gets what? Molecules gets Avogadro's number. And then what do I put next to grams?
80.
80. I was going to say, I was sure that one was 80.
I'm sorry.
S has how many? 1. O has 3. S is what? 32. O is? I told you. I'll tell you these eventually. We're not near there yet. 3 times 16 is 48. Add it up, you get 80. All right. So what do we get when we multiply and divide this? 56.4 times 6.022.
4.24.
Yep. So I got 2. All right. So I got what Tiffany did. 4.24 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. And I'm going to abbreviate today. MOLC. Because I'm low on space there at the end.
We don't have to.
No, you don't. I just did because I'm running out of space on the end of the board. Okay? Questions? Anybody?
No.
All right, so we feel okay about these problems.
Yes.
We can look at homework and see how we're doing. Okay, I need to check and make sure percent composition is not on the test, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
If we didn't answer the questions because we didn't have the calculators at home, is it okay if we just draw the charts?
Yes, anytime. Anytime. All right, I would like to see homework today. So if you will pull that out, that would be most fabulous. Now, those of you who did the naming yesterday in class, of course, you already have that piece. So just pull that out along with your charts and that one math problem. If you're like Sophie and all you did was draw the chart because you didn't have a calculator, that's fine. You still get credit for that. So pull that out. All right, the math. Good. What's on the last 2? Protesting? Where's the name? I'll get both worksheets out, so I don't have to constantly ask.
Worksheet.
The name of what should be.
Okay.
This one?
Okay.
The one that said tungsten cyanide was on. So where's the tungsten cyanide? Is it that one? Yes, that's it. It says calcium iodates first. I can only remember the tungsten one. Yes, so it has calcium iodates first. Yes. Looks like this. The naming worksheet review. Looks like this. We did it in class. A lot of you finished it in class. Some people didn't. All right, so you're missing 2 of the math. 85. All right. 5 is on that. Thank you. I was just getting ready to ask you to flip it for me. Okay. What about that? Okay.
Thank you. Come on, did you do your English homework?
You left your stuff at home. Sorry.
This one, the.
Hey, did you do it? You bring it to me tomorrow and I'll give you the 75. I'll be nice.
Good to hear.
You better not make a mess of that thing either.
I'm not. Hey,
You missing 7. Now you did.
all of them.
You did all math, which is why I only gave you to do it that.
Okay, I'll take it. I'm sorry.
What you doing down there? You trying to extra or something?
Oh, no, because I didn't do the
All right, Mr. I got it in my hair. What did you think of the
Just that she said something.
I wanna know, I just.
So just so you know, she said something, that's why.
I don't know, I messed up.
My answer was yesterday.
The rest of them don't look bad, but 8B's not right. I mean, I give you credit for it, it's not right. The others look good.
She thought, like, you missed it, or you got a picture of her. Like, on purpose? She got like, you said thing. And she was getting tired of this whole shit on her cat.
You throw out your trash.
I would laugh.
Good.
I would just laugh. I would ask her if it was okay, but after I would laugh.
Just checking after yesterday.
She just laid there for a minute. She didn't have a facial expression, but she's been laughing so hard. I said, see, this is like Jane gave me the read. And then she said, right.
1B, 508.
This one was like, how did you do
All
that?
right, let's look at some answers. Do we want to do the math first or the naming first? All right, the math. All right, number 1B. We're doing the math first. So 1B should have an answer of somewhere around 158. Okay, it might be slightly more with some decimals, slightly less. You can put AMU or U on it. Okay, 5B. Somewhere in the ballpark of 36 grams. Now, you do need 4 significant digits. So if you have 35, 35 point something, something, 36 point something, something grams. Okay? 6B should be around 2.7 moles. So if you have 2.7, 2.7 something, something moles, 2.6 something, something moles.
We could have put a 3.
Yeah. So you have 2.3 moles,
Wait, what number is this?
6B.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then 7B, somewhere around 0.33 moles. That one should be pretty close to exact. So I have 0.3334 moles. All right. And 8B is going to vary here also, depending on how you round it. I have 5.2 times 10 to the negative 10th grams. You need 4 significant digits. So I have 5.2 something something times 10 to the negative 10th grams. All right, what do we need to work?
What did you say number 1 was?
158. All right, 7 or 8. So number 7 says we have 2.008 times 10 to the 23rd. times 10 to the 23rd. What unit did they give us? All right, formula units. All right, and it says in number, let me get the worksheet so I don't have to keep trying to figure it out from the answers. All right, so number 7, it says how many moles of each of the following. All right, so what's going on the bottom, Tomas? Okay, formula units. And from a formula unit, we go to what? Mm-hmm. And because the question said how many moles, do we need to keep going? No. So we're done at this point. All we need to do are fill in the numbers. So moles gets a what? And formula units gets a what? Avogadro's number. And that's how when we divide, we get 0.3334, which is why I said that one should be pretty close for all of us because we're all putting in Avogadro's number. We're going to wind up with the same answer. No, because there's no grams in this one, the KNO3 does not matter. And I usually tell people I wouldn't add up the KNO3 unless I saw a gram in my chart. So I'd draw the chart first before I added up the KNO3. Yes, a lot of people do.
So this is number 7.
This is 7. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why would you try to find
The KNO3? Because there's no grams in the chart. You only need to add up KNO3 if there's a gram in the table. There's no gram in the table, so you don't need to know the mass of KNO3. Okay? And oftentimes, you guys start by going KNO and start adding it up. And so you find this mass, so you automatically try to fill it in your chart, but you don't have a gram in this chart anywhere, so you don't need it. Hey, Kevin. Oh, sure. Oh, by the way, I didn't send you a tech help, but I got Chinese characters back. I figured I'd just leave them this time. It's okay. They're fine. We're just going to live with them this time. They're not populating at the rate they were last time. They're much smaller and populous. Don't know why. They just pop up every now and then. I delete them. They don't come back near as fast. So it's all good.
I got something on the floor, I'll try.
I don't care. They're good. They're like old friends now. All right. What else? Number 6. All right. So number 6, you've got, I got the question right here though. All right. How many moles do you have in 471.6 grams of barium hydroxide? All right. So what's going on the bottom? Okay. What's going on top? All right. Did it ask for moles or did it ask for something else? Moles. All right. So we're going to stop there. All right. So this question is asking for what? Grams and moles. So this time, because it asked for grams, I'm going to need to do what? This time, all right, Sophie and Tomas, see how this one's different from the one y'all asked about? This time the grams is here. So this time I'm going to need to add up my BA, my O, and my H. But the last time, you see how the one y'all asked me about didn't have the grams in it? I didn't need to add up the KNO3. That's what makes the question Tiffany asked and the question y'all asked different. Okay? So the one y'all asked, we didn't need the mass. The one you asked needs the mass. Okay? So now we just need to see if you added the mass up right. How many BAs are there? Okay. How many O's?
2.
How many H's?
2.
Okay. Barium has a mass of what?
137.
Okay. And O? And H? Okay. Those are right. I mean, BA has a decimal that, you know, we could have used as like 0.3, but short of that, it's not hugely impactful. All right, so what's that going to be? 1 carry my 1, 171. Calculate. What do we get when we divide that?
2.75. So if it doesn't have the grams, we just put Avogadro's on it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And not all charts will necessarily have to have this. If grams is not in the chart, you will not need that. Okay. Anybody else have a question? Number 8 was 5.2 times 10 to the negative 10th.
Oh, let's see.
Do we do that one?
I mean, I got the
Why would it be?
times 10 to the negative 10.
What do you have?
I have 3.7 times 10 to the negative 10.
What's your mass of barium chloride? That's why it's 208. Barium has 1, and then times a mass of 137.3, and then there's 2 chlorines times a mass of 35.45.
Yeah, so for barium, I put a mass of 789.
Okay. Plus, what's your mass of barium?
That's what I'm saying.
Your mass of barium is 137.7
That's what's wrong.
plus. Okay. Yeah. To add that up again and then plug it in your chart again. That's why you're getting a weird answer.
What was the mass of the barium again?
The mass of the barium is 137.3. Okay. Anybody else? Question
What was the answer again?
for number which one?
What's it called?
8.
8, yeah.
5.2 times 10 to the negative 10th.
Wait, so when does the significant digits apply in that?
You only use the 1.506, so there's 4. So you got to have 4 in the answer.
But you said 5.2.
Yeah, I was just trying to get in the ballpark. So I actually have 5.207. Yes, there'd be 4 in the answer. Would you two stop? Other questions? All right, can we talk about the naming worksheet?
Yeah.
Okay. I looked over there several times, but clearly y'all were a little slower than the average barrel. All right.
Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
Very good.
All right, let's look at your naming worksheet. So if we look at the naming worksheet, some of you checked your answers yesterday, but some of you did not because you had not finished. And number 1, you should have CA, parentheses, IO3, close the parentheses with a 2. Number 2, W, parentheses, CN, close the parentheses, 6. Without the parentheses is wrong. If you have no parentheses, it's wrong. Number 3, CR2, parentheses, SO4, close the parentheses, 3. Number 4, FeBr2. Number 5, SO2. Number 6, P2O5. Number 7, K2S. Number 8, Mn, parentheses, MnO4, close the parentheses, 7. 9, SNO. 10, CCl4. Questions about writing the formulas or any of those?
Number 9, how did you get that?
Okay. And number 9, you have,
So, wait, what is
it's SENO.
Did you find that?
You have 10, which is SN. It says Roman numeral 2 behind it, which means it's 2 for an oxidation number, right? Because it's got the Roman numeral behind it, that means 10's a 2. Oxygen has a 2. So the 2 comes down, the 2 comes down. So just like in math class,
And they reduced.
yep, it's like having 2 over 2 where you reduce. So you reduce these also. So you get SNO.
Okay, I just left the SN to.
I would give you partial credit tomorrow. So instead of it being -2, it'd only be -1.
Okay.
Okay? Yes.
What about number 5?
Number 5. Number 5 is sulfur dioxide. This is old system naming, okay? So when you see sulfur dioxide, okay? So on the test tomorrow, when you see this di, this tells you it's old system naming, okay? You have to remember that a prefix equals the subscript, okay? There's no crisscrossing. The prefix tells you the subscript. Okay, so what prefix is right here on sulfur? There isn't one, right? So that means there's no subscript on the sulfur. It's just a 1. Oxide, what prefix is on oxide? That means the subscript is a 2. Okay, there's no crisscrossing in old system.
Okay, so will there be some old systems?
There is a very small number. Very small. I told you, you're going to see very, very small numbers of that. Probably not more than 1 or 2. Okay? Anything else on the 1 through 10? All right, the bottom half. Number 11, magnesium phosphate. Number 12, ammonium sulfate. Number 13, carbon 4 iodide or carbon tetraiodide. That one can be named either way, carbon 4 iodide or carbon tetraiodide. 14, potassium nitride. 15 can be named either way, potassium 6 oxide or sulfur trioxide. 16, manganese 5 oxide. 17 is potassium thiosulfate. 18 is lead 2 nitrate. And 19 is zinc hydroxide. Anything you want to ask? No. All right, we're going to take probably a half hour to 45 minutes to review, and then we're going to work on percent composition. Now, I have 3 worksheets. Now, these are the topics for the test, so I don't have to write it on the board. Atomic structure. What does atomic structure go back to in your notes? Can anybody tell me? Since we have a test tomorrow.
Like 3 parts of the nucleus.
Three parts of the nucleus. Back that up just a tad.
3 parts like that.
2 parts of the nucleus. So that would be the
Electronic cloud. Right.
what's in the nucleus? We're in deep doo-doo tomorrow, people. Protons and neutrons are where? Nucleus. And who's in the electron cloud?
Electron.
That is so much better. Okay. Now, from there, after we did the parts of the atom, we talked about how to find the numbers of each of those, right? Do we remember how to do that? So I have some practice problems for us in a moment. Remember, we did it with ions, we did it with atoms. And then we talked about how to convert like we did here with atoms, right? And then we went to naming of binary compounds. We did it with polyatomic ions. Then we did it with covalent. And then we talked about how to do this and that. Okay? So atomic structure, naming, and this is the test. Now, you probably don't believe me, but it's the easiest test we take all semester. It has 44 or 45 questions on it. Okay? It's half multiple choice. Half. It is the last multiple choice test you will see out of the next 2, other than the benchmark that I'm required to give. Now, I need to get 3 people who can hand out things and not miss the people who are out of their seats. If you are not one of those people who is ever so observant and can manage that, please don't volunteer. Okay, I got 2. Do I have a 3rd? Okay, so I got 2 over there, and I got 1 there. So you 3 come here. So Tomas, Tiffany, and Jay, you 3 have to remember each other and yourselves. Okay? So do not forget each other also. Okay? You have to give yourselves and each other papers. I don't want to hear, I didn't get a paper. Now, the paper that Tomas has given to you is the oldest stuff that we have done. Jade is giving you the naming review, which is all mixed up like it will be on the test. And Tiffany is giving you the stuff that we learned yesterday. You choose which one you need. If you need to start with naming because you're still a hot mess, start there. If you're good with that. But you're like Sophie a minute ago when she said, oh, I sort of remember protons, neutrons, and electrons. Start there. If you're Eduardo and you missed yesterday, you might want to start with yesterday. You pick. He's going to bring back the state title to us on Monday. And he's going to have a blue streak down the center of his head. You wrestle tomorrow or Saturday?
All 3 days.
Oh, all 3 days? Okay. Now, if you waste my time, we're going on. Because the one person in the room who does not need to review is who? I am here to provide assistance. I love questions. I love to feel useful. Okay? That's my goal in life. Okay? I might as well be. I'm here.
All right.
So ask me questions. Because I do not want to go home feeling suicidal tomorrow because y'all mucked up the test and I didn't teach it well. Okay? Exactly. Exactly. I'm here. Make me feel useful.
That's what you hear.
What do you want help with?
Yeah, you are.
But we narrow it down from everything to something in particular. You know, everything is a little broad. I have done school once upon a time. Oh, I gave it to somebody yesterday for the period and they didn't give it back.
Hey, these other acids will be on there too?
Oh, your friend Xavier just said, will those 4 common acids I told you had to learn be on the test tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes, yes, they will. You will see at least 1, perhaps 2, but I can assure you there's 1. Yes. Okay, so was that me? Okay. Now, why do you put 3 there? Okay, but what about antimony says to you up here on the test, I need a Roman numeral, or I don't need to use Roman. That's right, the number of these.
Okay,
The
one
right
on
there,
it.
there's
Like
multiple.
take a math.
You need to put a Roman numeral. That's correct.
I'll see you again next year.
I'm only taking Spanish course and English, and that's all the classes I'm gonna have.
See, Jake, I will see you next year. You too.
Please, I'm not on the classes with you.
I really don't.
I am tired of you, okay?
Which will write share course.
I'll
be on sophomore. You know, just because she loves us.
But like I said, I do not want to go to my classes.
And you guys.
I'm not. I'm not.
I'm suicidal when you were crying.
I do want to see my.
So, Jake, now you know you're going to see me.
This is the one that.
Whether we don't want it or not, we're going to see each other.
Oh, okay. That's one of those 4. They all start with hydrogen. Anything that starts with hydrogen, you should think, oh, there's one of those four. Okay, I've alarmed you. Okay?
You good.
All right, did you hear what I just told Jay? Yeah, it starts with hydrogen. Now, since the last two people who asked me a question, look at number 2 on the name, sorry, the naming paper. Look at the naming paper. Look at number 2. What element does it start with? The 4 acids that I told you to memorize. What element do the acids have to start with?
Hydrogen.
Every acid starts with hydrogen. No other compound is going to start with hydrogen. So when you see something that starts with hydrogen, that should trigger something in your head. Oh, that's what Wall Street tricked me with. Okay? So if you're not starting with that one, when you get to that one, just remember that. Put a little star beside it or circle hydrogen is something to think about when you get back to it. What? Okay. Okay, it's not O2. Because see how it's in parentheses right there? All right, what is that thing in parentheses? That whole thing, NO3 together.
As far as I know, that's right.
Yep, you did.
Ew. No.
That's
Okay.
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 Anyway.
Yep.
Jay, are you going to see me start next week or not?
I was gonna go see her today. Oh, no, I do not wear that. Does your
Well, you just started on number 4 and not finished.
Oh.
So you don't have to do that class
Why did you put
This is
iron
not
on
gonna be
there?
because they can't.
Take it off. No, 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 no. On the sheet.
She can't come in with them straight shoes.
But otherwise.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna tell them
All right. You wrote the L and S, so you gotta look up.
She's like, oh, no. Oh,
Exactly.
I'll get you.
Some people are just using their phone, but.
Yep. Okay, hold on. So I'm just deleting this so I can do that in a minute. So when you want to find protons, neutrons, all right? So neutrons always the proton, mass, subtract number, right? So what is your mass in this question?
okay.
Subtract your,
27.
okay, so subtract that and get your neutrons. Now, if you had to find the mass, which is what you're thinking you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, when you said that, you don't need them round. The mass is always the protons add neutrons. Okay, so it's never gonna be a rounded number. So, in one like down, when we have like here, what is the atomic mass? Okay, what are your protons? You say 28 plus, what are your neutrons? So you would add those two things together, and I think that's going to be 60. And that would be your atomic mass. Okay, but you're never going to look at the element around. Okay, decide. Take that off. So you're going to say you're 108, subtract your 47, and then get your neutrons. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, just like you did on the other side.
This week, both you went off fast. You really did. Like at the beginning, it's like, slow.
No, today's not Friday. We got a test tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I have a job.
I'm just saying, gosh.
Where?
I was like, okay.
All right. This one's okay, because both of these have one, so it's fine. Okay, 13.
No, that's Cracker Barrel.
Okay, so these
No,
are,
I-
that done, what's that?
I recommend.
Is it
it.
almost? Yeah, that's what I was gonna get one too, so.
I got you.
All right, that's not
I'm
done.
up there tomorrow. If you're down,
That's
yeah,
all I
yeah.
got. This one's
Well, you
good.
need to get it and all
This
you have
one's
to literally,
good.
you don't have to fill it in.
Look at that.
All you have to do
It's here.
is, push one click on
Look at
that, and it'll tell you put in reference, old jobs, and that's it. I already got my fill up.
I'm thinking.
Oh,
That
okay.
was the best thing. It's just Josh, I was like,
Yeah.
it's the young people that that's. So they're gonna like translate.
What if three go?
And then I was like, oh, so you did all the stuff with coaches, with Flash.
Yep. And then look at macro H. Good, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
This was like.
I'm
That's just
surprised,
what we did last
like,
time.
you don't get your own drinks there. Yeah. Pretty sure.
That's the older stuff to this. That was just single elements as opposed to whole compounds.
Yeah.
It's doing the same thing this is doing, except these were just elements, these were whole compounds.
What is galleons?
Gallium's like number 31. And there you just got to look on the periodic table and go, oh, it was sodium, write the mass down. Yeah, smart.
2.76.
Here, I'm gonna answer you for you, because I need to scan it to upload on the website anyway, so let's see if we can find it.
Where is gallium at? Oh, okay.
You must not have heard me say it.
No, I was in my own little area.
Here it is. I gotta scan it for the website, so just do that, and you can check.
It's grand.
So for this one,
Yeah.
Adam's dirty sodium.
For some odd reason, this stupid app likes the white table better. Doesn't work out.
Well, so far.
Again, those
Never has trouble finding it on that black. Hey, guy. Check away.
And I actually do have.
Is this not like a?
Alright, it's one word, yeah. I like dogs like this though because like you don't have to, it's not like this, but you don't have to go read stuff and you don't have to, you know, I'm awful at that.
I finished it.
Oh, Lord.
Jake. Is it good? Question?
I know what I was wrong.
Let me see it.
I didn't do the masses. I just had the number of the elements.
Oh. Okay, let's fix that then. I'm coming back, Xavier. I'm just getting out the answers. Put a ruler there for that one. What's the first compound on the naming sheet?
Na2.
All right, sodium thiosulfate. All right, and I'm setting the keys up here beside the computer with Marissa's flower for me. All right, and the last one was one with the counting atoms. That one. Now I gotta find the one that says counting atoms. It's the only one I'm missing. The other one you're looking for, counting atoms, it's the one I'm hunting for. I got it, I just gotta find it. Oh, there it is. Counting atoms, that's coming next. I just gotta do it for the website and then you're home free.
I don't know what you did, Arlene, but this says 129. For number 4, we also have put 130 since it's
For what?
129.9, I think it is.
Yeah, put a decimal behind it.
Okay. Hey, Arlene, I don't know what to do. You really honestly don't know what to do, yeah. Because this says 129 and this is 1.29.
All right. There is all the answers. Here, turn it this way. Goes that way.
Times 10 to the second.
They're all 4
I
keys.
don't know where you
So what?
got your number.
Okay, so
Mhm.
if you're finding
I don't know
the
how
atomic
that
mass,
is.
we don't have any labeled graph in
No, because you would add what 2 things to get the mass?
the neutrons and the protons.
Yes, yes, there will never be decimals.
7.81.
What's the problem?
Did you just click?
No, touch of me.
In the atomic mass, do you want us to round it?
There will never be a rounding. Because you're always adding what your particles.
Instead of.
Protons and neutrons. So you're never gonna have a decimal, you're never gonna round.
Yeah, in your test.
You're trying to round on the decimal, you're doing something
Hi,
wrong.
everyone.
So, the atomic mass, we're gonna round
You do not use that.
And then
And
you
it's-
use.
that's right.
it. Oh,
That's right. You want another question?
I was just wondering what it
She
is.
has 150. If you just go with
Molecules, one. You added that up right? I would say yes.
Okay.
I have no idea what that is. No, because that's PCl. That's chlorine, not carbon and iodine. So fix that math. The process is correct, yes. All right, that's chlorine, not carbon and iodine.
I thought you asked.
Protons and neutrons the same way.
Protons and what?
They're the same.
Protons and neutrons, protons and electrons are the same. Yes.
Yeah, you have to add 2 moles and add
No.
1 gram.
What goes beside grams?
You said.
The mass on the,
So this other side.
yes. What do you think?
We do the grams that are on the table, right, for this one?
No, if you put this down there, what do you think will go up there now?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, you do put your tonnage, you put it after you do your 10. So right here, then you put. Yeah. After it's starting to shoot.
So it's when I do the bags.
Yeah. You only put it after the first one.
So we have 3.
So like,
Let's talk about it.
I put it.
Oh, it's 32. It's in the
Because they
original
should
question only, so you gotta have
do
many.
the time.
Uh,
When you go to the next number, yeah.
Because not everybody's gonna round that the same way you do. Because grams canceling, moles canceling, or they cancel. And that's transfer. Now, see this number? Before you write down formula units, but look at the end of the number on your calculator. Is there any E at the end of that number?
I mean, 4.04 times 10 to 6.
Okay.
Well, nice.
How come I'm thinking? One second. Oh, no, this is a special polygon. If you look it up on the CR207 -2, it's a special polygon. You know, we don't do anything without exceptions all over the place in chemistry, so it's just the name of the polygon.
This was the
Yes, that's cesium, sorry.
I was like, I cannot find it over there.
No, it's cesium, you are correct.
What more you want?
Is it saying like write the formulas or names for this one?
Yeah, so at the top you're gonna write the names, and at the bottom half you're gonna write the formulas.
Yeah, they smell like ramen noodles. What's those smell like? Well, they just gave them to you as the food was backpackers. I mean, we had to pass them out, and I knew we was gonna have one. They should have had coupon protection. That's why I was saying. I don't think that would have been a great promotion.
Do we just want to make with us?
KFC, man. Right, I don't think
Like, she
actually,
the macaroni and cheese and cream salad was very good.
that's good. And they biscuit and cookies.
Yes, it's easy.
Yeah, macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and gravy.
And potatoes.
And then cookies.
30, 68, 55, 17,
What's your winner?
like what?
I'm done with.
I'm going somewhere.
Well, that's so safe.
Okay. What are you doing later, though?
When she always does.
Oh, later.
Yeah, it's easy.
Be productive, yeah.
It is not productive.
That is productive.
You should hear James' words.
It's a typo on my part, I'm sorry.
That's when you.
When you went to the minister, when you turned.
Yeah, your leg turned after going to the minister.
This ain't my life.
That was your one.
No, I'm going to make the next class. And she came in and she was like, I just got here. And I was like, what you mean you just got here? And this is our third period.
At first, I thought she did the E's. I was like, because she said my legs are.
Okay.
Right.
Because you know, I'm not.
So what you do on the bottom?
Wait, what? Oh, 130. Wait, what?
Started seeing my hair was red.
Well, what unit's gonna be on top?
Dude, I'm not so
And what goes inside a gram?
Yeah.
What you got from where?
I said, yeah, different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
No, you might have to first.
Yeah.
And you was giving him the math.
I heard the last part of the conversation, like.
I know, it's fine.
My head wasn't going to be that way though. Y'all's heads was going to be that way.
My head ain't that way. I just knew what she was talking about. I just put, I was thinking all the time.
Really?
So that's why I was like, I'm working. I was gonna let that play out.
I would be awesome. Same crazy. Like over there, I saw a dude. I had to see him a bull at first. But he was like,
What is your question?
Of course.
it was father.
Yeah. Was it good? What?
That dude I lost to.
Whatever you want.
It's like,
I did eat
of this.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, man.
Yes, I wrote that.
Y'all are
good. I wasn't right though. I wrote that.
Will that be the next one? Would that be someone?
Some of them, some of them.
Yeah, it's 5.24. It's the second grades, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you take the message up? I'm sorry, I don't know.
I think it's on Solomon.
So where is Gary going? I
Jason, I think it's in Solomon.
You scared last time?
Who stand up?
And the blue boy.
When you weren't gonna get up.
You come over here and fight.
No, you come up here and fight me.
Wait a minute, don't fight Chris yet. Go ahead and fight her.
She, you know.
Got the clap.
Y'all got something to do.
Okay, what you got to do?
David, if you need me, it's 11:40, I'm gonna see you.
Yes.
I
Exactly.
don't need you, wait till I get up there. Okay.
Nah, that would be fun.
Oh my God. Shut up. I'm not playing with you. You beat me and I beat my man. I'm really gonna beat you.
You'll be sad the rest of the day.
No, don't go home. I walk right up the school. Where are you going?
Do we need to move on?
No, ma'am.
No.
I mean, we're going to in a little bit, but you still have some time to work.
Taking some water.
Who else has a question for me? Sort of slowed down. Can't believe I don't have any more questions.
Not yet.
All right, I'm still on the name machine.
I hope that means that's the case.
I'm on the group, the brand, the mold, molecule.
Right, that's what I said.
I didn't go with one.
She kind of all right.
Exactly.
No, you're not supposed to tell us. This is where it is. I'm not blessed.
I mean, you could be up here.
If you would.
Hey,
Never mind. I would've got a good grade on my exam too.
Ms. Wall, what is,
What is?
never mind.
I should have got behind you.
You're right.
I got a 7.
I got a freaking.
Well, we're talking about exam, but like,
Lucky, I think it was lower than that. No. So, I knew I would, actually, I thought it was good, but. I was gonna do decent.
Yeah, what you got?
which one are we looking at? 4? 8? Alright, so how many grams? We got 2.48 moles and that. That's mass gallon, isn't it? So yeah, looks good.
I haven't.
Why would you ever do that?
So what you could
That's what they like that combination.
What do you get?
That's good, wasn't
It was different.
it? It was good. That's great.
It was there.
Freaking awesome.
What was you get?
All right.
Yes, brother.
Oh, no. Did you buy it? I picked.
You're childish.
I don't think you're gonna give me a book to it. She said, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't put
But I
mine
gave you my
aside.
homework, 'cause I
Different
should-
notation. Hey, look, little boy.
Yeah, I don't like it. I have.
Look, go on me.
I can call you one time and bring you back. The 60 because 28 plus 32 was 60.
Boy. You can be.
Oh, fool.
Stop.
Give
Give her her phone.
All right, I've given you right at about 45 minutes, which was my plan today. Okay, you was able to stop. All right.
She took off for
She keep flirting with Miss Wallace.
Oh, sure that's what it is. I am sure that's what it is.
No,
Now, the answers have been out for a while. If you're working this weekend
Yes.
and you decide that you need the answers, where do I put the answers?
On the website.
They're already there. Okay, I scanned them a little bit ago. I uploaded them while I was sitting there at my desk, so they're already on the website. So if you decide this weekend that you're studying and you want to check them out, they're there. If you decide that in class today you've done enough, you don't need to look at them again. I mean tonight, not this weekend, tonight. I keep thinking today is Friday. I'm so disappointed when I realize it's Thursday. It's not really Friday. But it's really Thursday.
We all are.
I know. If you decide tonight that you're good, then you don't have to do anymore. Okay? I will not be checking these review sheets. They were for you. Okay? So we'll test tomorrow. When we're done testing, we will probably do another ACT method test prep. I'll choose one. Y'all are all juniors, with the exception of Baden. You have to take the ACT at the end of the month. You have to score an 18. We've had that conversation. You're not like my fourth period and realize that if you don't make an ACT score of 18 or higher, I should say if you score lower, you're really not going to have to take that remedial stuff next year, right? Y'all do know you have to do that next year if you don't score an 18 or higher, right?
Yes,
They swear up and down no one's told them this.
So we don't get anything if we do complete the whole test prep thing.
But what, with me?
I was just saying in general.
No, the idea
At a
is,
certain point out of 100%, I guess.
no, the idea is that you need to score an 18 on the ACT or higher. Now, you can also use the ACT for college entrance. Some schools will use the ACT as opposed to the SAT for entrance to school for your test exams. So the higher you score on this ACT, you can use it in lieu of the PSAT for college. So if you do so well on this spring, you may not need to take the ACT or the PSAT again, and the school is paid for it, and you don't have to spring for it. I mean, that is an added advantage that could always work for you. The biggest thing I would say to you is we pay for the ACT method test prep, and it's a free advantage. My daughter goes to the Davidson County schools. They don't have anything like this. If they want to do something like that, I have to spring for it out of my own pocket. They haven't even been told that as a junior that they have to score an 18 or they're going to have to do some type of remedial coursework. So y'all have several advantages they don't have. I'm just making sure y'all are aware of that because several of my fourth period were like, what are you talking about, Ms. Wall? When I made that statement the other day. So we'll do a small one. I will try not to give you a large one. All right, so the last thing we're going to do today is an easy type of problem, okay? Because I don't want to do anything hard today.
We're taking notes of this.
These are notes. Now, the next test, not this one, will actually not have this on it. I know y'all are looking at me like I'm nuts. All right, we're going to do tests. Two tests next. One is going to be on chemical reactions, which will be entirely on chemical reactions. And then one that will be on stoichiometry, which will be entirely on math. Okay, and the two topics get mushed together in terms of we have some math, we have some reactions, we have some math, we have some reactions, we have some math. The tests I separate. So even though we're doing some math and we're doing some reactions, all the reactions will be on one test, all the math will be on one test. Okay, and we'll practice and we'll review for both. So this topic, even though we're doing it right now, will not be on the very next test. Now, percent composition is something y'all have done and calculated in other math classes. All right. Now we're just going to use it and apply it in the chemistry class, which is why I don't mind teaching this today because y'all already know how to do it. All right. We're going to find the percent of each element in a compound. And this is easy for most people because you guys have done this in other math classes. So let's say, just as an example, that I ask you to find the percent males in the room. Tell me what things you would need to find the percent males in the room. Okay, total number of what? Okay, you would need the total of all students or people. Let me just say people. We'll count me too. Okay, the total of all people. And what else would we need? Total number of what? Total number of males. Okay. All right, so everybody was here today, -2, so 17 people, I make 18. So the number of 18 people, let me change colors. All right, so we had 18 people here, counting myself. How many of them are male? 1, 2, here, I got Tiffany counting. 6. All right, so if I wanted to find
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We're agreed at 7? Okay. So now if I want to find the percent males, what do I do? By?
7, 18.
All right. So we take the males over the 18. And I need one more thing. There you go. Times 100. Okay. Now, we're going to do the exact same thing, except now we want to take that skill that you already have and finding percent males, and we want to translate that into finding the percent in a compound. Okay? Same concept. We're going to do it with a compound. Got me? Okay, so let's start easy. Everybody got what they need from this board? Okay, so I want you to think about it. Well, you found total people, which is why I wrote it down. Total people, total males. So keep that concept in your head. All right, so let's say we have CaBr2. Let's do one I can do it in my head easier. Let's do CO2. I can do that in my head. All right, we're going to find the percent carbon and the percent oxygen. Now, what would we need to know in order to find the percent oxygen and the percent carbon in the compound? Thinking about what we just talked about. All right, you're thinking too small just yet. What did you want to say with the total what?
The total amount, the total
mass.
The total mass of what?
elements.
The total mass of carbon and so the total mass of each element. Okay, so we need the total mass of each element. Okay, and I'm not going to list it as carbon and oxygen because remember, this is generic for future problems. So we'll need the total mass of each element. Okay, that's one. I need one more thing. That's like the number of males, if that helps you any. The what?
Total.
The core mass of each one. Right.
That would be like the mass of C and the mass of the O.
So you don't add those together?
What would that be called if you add them together?
The average.
Oh.
The average percent.
Okay. You need the mass of the compound. And that's called molar mass. Or you can call it formula mass or some other name. Okay. Now, when we say the mass of the compound, that would be adding up all the people in the room. Okay. Adding up all the people in the room is adding up the compound. Counting up the males is adding up each element. So when you guys were saying something like count up the number of C's or count up the number of the O's, you're finding up the mass of the element. Okay? Those are the two things we're always going to need. We're going to need to figure out the mass of the element, and then we're going to need the mass of the compound. All right, does everybody have the two pieces we need? Okay, so the easiest thing we should do, if we always need the molar mass, is start by finding the molar mass. So let's take CO2. All right, how many C's do I have? How many O's do I have? What's the mass of carbon? I'm just going to use the whole number to make life easier on us. And the oxygen? So we get 12. We get, for a grand total of 44. Okay. Now, to find the percent composition, you always take the mass of the element over the mass of the compound. So, what is for my percent carbon? What is my mass of my element?
12.
Over my mass of my compound. Now, I'm finding a percent. So what do I have to do to make it a percent? Times 100. To find the percent oxygen, what is the mass of my element? 32. Sometimes people tell me 16. Why is it not 16? You have 2 oxygens and you have to use all of them. Over 44 and then times 100. Now, when I get these two percentages, what should they add up to be? They should add up to be 100. Now, if you get like 99 or 99.9, should you hunt down that other 0.9 or 0.1%? No. All right, I'm going to write 27.2. And I'm going to write 72.7. Now, the units on these are percent, because that's what we calculated. Now, just like when we did molar mass, when you look at this, okay, CO2, that was my question. Find the percent. Did I have any numbers given to me in the question? So do I have any significant digits?
No.
Some of you might have rounded to 27 and 73. Some of you might have said 27 and 72. Some of you might have had 2 decimal places behind this. Some of you might have been like me and only had 1. Does it matter? No, because I didn't give you any numbers. There are no significant digits in this question. Any questions about that? Can we try another one? Okay. Let's do one with parentheses this time.
Yes.
All right, let's find the percent of Ca, Cl, and O. All right, how many Cas do I have? How many Cls?
2,
And how many Os?
6.
That one has a mass of 40. I will not round that one to a whole number because it's really a half, and 16. $32, $32, and $32 ought to be 96. All right. So, how many percents would I have this time? You have 3, because you got 3 different elements. Sometimes the question may just say, find the percent of chlorine, and you'll only do 1. But if they don't tell you, you need to do all 3. So the percent of calcium, what goes on top? Over 206.8 times 100. Percent chlorine, what goes on top? 70.8 over 206.8 times 100. And on the bottom, here, percent oxygen, what goes on top? Over 206.8 times 100. All right, so what do we get for any of those answers? $19.3. Anybody get that?
Yeah.
$34.2. And 46.4. Any issues with percent composition? Okay.
So will we ever have like a significant digit for that or no?
No, because you'll always be, again, choosing these numbers. Some of you will choose around the whole numbers. Some of you will choose around one place. Some of you will take every number on the periodic table. So no. All right, so what's our homework tonight? So nobody's coming.